The Open Mic Broadcast Network would like to take this time to recognize its sponsors and underwriters: Attorney Lee Van Richardson, Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union, Prairie View Athletic Club, Temple of Refuge Ministries, Reflections Paint and Body Shop, Helping Hands Lawn Service, the Hotline Press newspaper of Hempstead, Texas, Diva Skin Conditioner, Purple Drip Daiquiri and Grill. For more information on how you can become an underwriter or a sponsor here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network, our number to call is 832-213-8824. Serving the community through faith and athletics. The Open Mic Broadcast Network, Prairie View, Texas. It's the radio guy, Mike Prince. Welcome to another episode of the Mike Prince Show. It is our mission to try to bring you some news that you could use each and every day. Today would be no exception to the rule. You can follow me on Twitter at the Mike Prince Show. The YouTube channel is the Open Mic Broadcast Network. Our website is obnradio.com and a 24-hour dial-in message line, 713-570-6736. And without any further delay, we'll jump right into today's episode. TikTok goes the clock. Prairie View yet to name a head football coach, and the natives have gotten restless. Some would say it's part of a ultra strategic plan. Others are saying that it's a lack of vision, period, that has taken thus long to come up with a new football coach. Meanwhile, life continues on throughout the rest of the football world. College games, bowl games being canceled and shifted in and out with the world of COVID. The NFL has been struck, which does remind us that we still are in the middle of a pandemic. How all this will fare out will weigh itself out in the very near future. Meanwhile, back at the ranch with the Prairie View situation, what is the holdup? Are there as many people involved that is too many to choose from? Or are the pickings so few and far in between that they're not strong enough candidates? Still not understanding what and why we have what we have. Meanwhile, attention is gearing toward the hardwood. Basketball season will be tipping off with conference play very, very soon. Getting past this final few days of the regular 21 year that is left. I said regular 21 years. It's been an unusual year 21, just like 20 was, and the pandemic struck us all. But adjustments are being made and people are moving forward. As we stated, we were going to break down this past football season for the Prairie View A&M University Panthers. Panthers, of course, ended up going 7-5 throughout the year, and some would say it was a suspect 7-5. It was a down year for Grambling, a down year for Southern, but is that necessarily Prairie View's problem? Because some of the Blue Bloods were having down years, do you hold that against the Panthers? I would have to say no, because you can only play who's on your schedule. And when you go up and down the schedule for 2021, of course, you played the Texas Southern team, who was definitely a different team at the end of the year than they were at the start of the year. Of course, they now have their quarterback in place, and it will definitely be a different tune when they face off for this 37th annual Labor Day Classic. Then you had the likes of Pine Bluff, and I'm going to stick within the conference for right now. You had Pine Bluff. Pine Bluff was coming off a strong spring season. And when you look at it on paper, you would say, okay, that's going to be a tough game. But it ended up being a game that Prairie View was able to handle. And of course, Pine Bluff didn't have the year that was projected to have. You then move on to Grambling. Grambling's situation is what it is. And you had the firing of Coach Fobbs. And of course, the moving on, you win that game. You then get to the Southern game. You take care of Southern at homecoming. Now, Southern had talent, but from day one, I didn't think that Coach Rollins was the answer. And it was obvious that he wasn't the answer because Southern moved away from him and now have Eric Dooley in place. You get to the Alabama State game. Another up and down program, but Prairie View was able to take care of them. And then when you get to the non-conference schedule, you had, of course, Incarnate Word, who definitely blew the hinges off the doors against Prairie View. And Prairie View did what was necessary against a mediocre Houston Baptist program. And of course, A&M was A&M. But the Achilles heel for Prairie View, by far, was the state of Mississippi. Could not handle, before I go to Mississippi, you beat a Bethune-Cookman. Bethune-Cookman had a down year. And so you could say for the case for all the programs that Prairie View had success against, they had down years. But that's not necessarily Prairie View's problem. You play who they set up in front of you. Now to the O for Mississippi, Alcorn was a game that was a gift to Alcorn. When you go back and you replay that game in your mind, you replay that game on video or audio, however you want to do it, Prairie View should have won that game. The Mississippi Valley game was a game that concerned me from day one for a couple of reasons. Number one, it was the final game of the season. Number two, it was coming off of a Texas A&M game. And those two components was just disaster as far as I was concerned. Then you had, of course, Jackson State. Jackson State, by far, had more manpower on their interior lines, and they had their way with Prairie View. Now, they say you take away the kickoff return and the pick six, you got a different game. But you still had a convincing enough loss to where Prairie View fell short to the teams that had substance, and not taking anything away from Mississippi Valley. Not that Mississippi Valley didn't have any substance, but it was one of those games, so like I stated at the beginning, it concerned me just where it landed. Now, some have gone off with a conspiracy to say that the games were possibly thrown. I don't believe that to save my life. I don't believe that at all. Now, there is a question. If, and I'm using that very loosely, Prairie View had have beaten Jackson State at the SWAC championship game, would Coach Dooley had hung around to lead them at the Celebration Bowl? That's the mystery question that will probably never get answered, but it is something to think about. Meanwhile, I'm still thinking about who the next coach will be for the Prairie View A&M University football Panthers. But as always, we'll keep abreast and keep a post of everything that is, and see what we got at the end. I hope that the decision is made soon, very soon, because it's something that truly needs to be done. Recruiting is slipping. You're coming up for the February recruits. Hopefully somebody will be in charge by then. But you don't know. We're a couple of days out from the new year of 22. What you gonna do in 22, PVU? We shall see. I am going to exit stage left for right now. And oh, by the way, some of you guys responded to the electric football memories that I was kindling up, and some of you said you had leagues and would love to hear. That was a boss game, man. Still a boss game. And like I told you guys, I actually ordered me a little small set. I didn't order one of them super sets. I did the red zone deal. Set me up a few plays. See if I still got the old Midas touch. I'll keep you guys abreast of that thing as we continue to develop. Are you watching any of these college bowl games? Those that are remaining, those that can withstand the COVID thrust. Anyway, we'll keep in tune and keep in touch. Thank you so much for joining in with us on today. I am the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince. As always, a joy and a pleasure to be before you. And until the next time, you guys be blessed, and we'll see you on the other side.